Urgent. Prince William just publicly challenged Keir Starmer in an eruption so fierce that palace veterans are calling it unheard of in modern royal history. His exact words, in fact, stunned audiences across 2 continents and set off what experts are calling Britain's most serious constitutional shock in half a century. What followed sent tremors ripping through Westminster that still haven't settled. The royal household is in turmoil. Ministers are scheming. Cabinet members bolting. If you want a front row seat to how this crisis wrecks careers, hit subscribe now because the next 72 hours could reshape Britain forever. Here is what detonated the constitutional firestorm now gripping the nation. At 9:47 a.m. yesterday, Prince William arrived at what should have been a routine charity event for homeless veterans in South London. His prepared remarks, housing, mental health, safe, non-political territory, but William didn't stick to the script. He stared down the cameras and dropped a thunderclap. When our government pledges support to those who served, then funnels billions elsewhere to those who just arrived, something has gone deeply, profoundly wrong with our priorities. Down Faying Street, didn't see it com Faying. With Fayin 90 min Fayutes, the prime min Fayais Fater, and faced with a state fayment so bit Faying that even his own MPs went wide, and he didn't stop there. At 11:23 a.m, out Fayside num Faber 10, Keir Starmer de Fayliv fared a blast faying rebuke. Wit Faynesses saw the fury bear Fayley confatained. Prince William needs to remember that Britain is a democracy, not a country ruled by inherited privilege. If he wants to lecture elected officials about priorities, he should stand for office and face the voters. The backlash was immediate. William versus Starmer exploded across X, trending worldwide. Conservative MPs called emergency huddle. Labour backbenchers stared at their phones in stunned silence. One senior Westminster source quoted David Lammy. He just picked a fight with the most popular royal in Britain. This is political suicide. Then came the hammer blow. At 2:15 p.m, Buckingham Palace released a statement that constitutional scholars described as nuclear in its implications. The Prince of Wales spoke from the heart about matters affecting millions of British families. His commitment to veterans and vulnerable citizens has never wavered. Those who serve this nation deserve better than political attacks when their advocate speaks truth. No apology, no retreat. The palace doubled down, casting Starmer as the politician attacking veterans' advocates. Meanwhile, Britain's veterans live in conditions that shame a developed nation. A 62-year-old Falklands veteran, James Morrison, was found last week sleeping in a Manchester doorway with medals pinned to his coat begging for change. He waited 14 months for a council flat that never came. "I fought for this country," he wept to reporters. "And now my government treats me like I am invisible." He is not alone. Former Royal Navy medic Sarah Patterson, who has done 3 Afghan tours, sleeps in her car in a Brighton car park. She suffers from PTSD. The wait for mental health services 18 months. "I patched up soldiers under fire," she said, voice shaking. "Now I can't even get a call back from the council." These are the people William defended, and these, his supporters say, are the people Starmer dismissed. While asylum seekers arriving by small boat are housed immediately in hotels at a reported cost of £8 million per Dalton Y. We're talking 4-star accommodation, 3 meals, spending money, full healthcare and legal support. The Britannia Hotel in Stockport alone hosts 240 asylum seekers at £120 per person per night. £28,800 every single night, while James Morrison sleeps on cardboard. The contrast is brutal, obscene, and for many lifelong Labour voters, unforgivable. By 6 p.m, a Snap YouGov poll revealed that 68% of Britons were siding with William's message. Among the over -50s, it jumped to 79%. Among veterans and their families, it hit 91%. Starmer hadn't just criticised a prince. He had, in the eyes of many, taken aim at the nation's conscience, and then the truly unprecedented. King Charles, careful for 2 years to avoid even the scent of politics, broke 70 years of protocol with remarks so bold that scholars are still debating the constitutional line. During a routine Privy Council meeting at 4:30 p.m, the King delivered comments that were swiftly leaked to 3 major newspapers. When my son speaks of duty service and the welfare of those who defended this realm, he speaks with my full support. The monarchy exists to serve the people, not the political class. Insiders say Charles personally authorised the leak. He wanted Britain to know where he stands. Senior advisers openly wondered if this crossed constitutional boundaries. One long-serving palace official admitted, "In 30 years, I've never seen the king this angry." He believes Starmer disrespected William and, by extension, every veteran in Britain. Optically, devastating for the Prime Minister, a father defending his son, a sovereign defending veterans, a future king calling out government priorities, while Starmer looked petty, vindictive, and deaf to ordinary families' concerns. But there is more. According to several sources within Kensington Palace, William's speech wasn't impromptu passion. It was the result of a long-planned move. He'd been meeting with veterans groups in secret since last October, toured shelters across 6 cities, and spoken with former soldiers who lived under bridges. One advisor described him as having built for this moment over months. He knew full well what he was lighting. This was not a royal outburst. This was a future king laying down a marker about the Britain he wants to inherit. Even more striking, Princess Catherine gave full backing to the remarks, sources say, and urged William to go further than the first draft. "Silence is complicity," she reportedly told him. "Their children will inherit a country unrecognisable unless someone speaks now. The royals aren't simply reacting, they're shaping events." Markets felt the blast before the opening bell. Sterling fell 1.8% against the dollar by Friday morning, its steepest one-day drop since the mini-budget chaos in 2022. £2.3 billion was wiped off the FTA 100 in the first hour. Goldman Sachs warned clients of sustained volatility. Morgan Stanley revised the UK outlook from stable to negative. Inside Labour, the real carnage began by Friday afternoon. 4 junior ministers were gone. First to go was Transport Secretary Louise Hay, whose letter leaked within half an hour. "I cannot serve a Prime Minister who attacks the royal family for defending British veterans." 2 hours later, Home Office Minister Stephen Kinnock followed. Education Minister Catherine McKinnell resigned at 5 p.m. Defence Minister Luke Pollard, whose brief is literally supporting veterans, walked at 7:30 p.m, calling Starmer's comments indefensible. And then the shocker at 10:15 p.m. Veterans Minister Johnny Mercer, decorated Afghanistan veteran, didn't just resign, he endorsed William's statement and termed Starmer's remarks disgraceful. "I've bitten my tongue for 2 years," Mercer wrote in a scathing letter posted to X. "But I won't stay silent while a Prime Minister who never served dismisses those who did." The post went mega viral, 340,000 shares in 3 hours. Labour MPs admit privately this is the most damaging resignation in living memory. Mercer's credibility in uniform is beyond spin. Abroad, the reaction was swift. In Australia, where King Charles is still head of state, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese praised William's advocacy for veterans. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre of Canada denounced Starmer's attack as shameful. Opposition voices in New Zealand questioned Britain's stability for the first time in decades. Britain looked divided and rudderless on the world stage. Online, the eruption was unmatched. Stand with William held the #1 global trend for 18 straight hours. Footage of William's speech racked up 47 million views in 36 hours. Polling showed Starmer's approval collapsing from 39% to 22%. Overnight, demonstrations flared in London, Manchester, Birmingham and Glasgow. Placards, "Veterans before migrants." William speaks truth. This wasn't a political spat. It was a national revolt against the Prime Minister. Inside 10, the atmosphere turned toxic. Ministers kept their distance. Cabinet meetings that usually run 90 minutes wrapped in 20. No one wanted proximity to the blast zone. Chancellor Rachel Reeves reportedly stormed out after a screaming row. Deputy PM Angela Rayner was overheard saying, "This is worse than I thought. We might not survive the month." WhatsApp groups with names like Future Leadership and Post-Starmer Strategy lit up. Names floated. Rayner, Reeves, Health Secretary Wes Streeting, even former leader Ed Miliband. The question isn't if they challenge, only when. One senior Labour MP told reporters late Friday, 20 years in Parliament. I've never seen anything like this. He looked shattered in Cabinet. He knows what is coming. Another insider called Starmer paranoid, isolated, lashing out, insisting he was defending democracy while everyone else whispered political suicide. Then came the revelation that changes everything. Late on Friday night, the Times got internal comms revealing that 3 senior advisers warned Starmer not to engage. The memo was blunt. Any public attack on the Prince of Wales will be seen as an attack on veterans. This is unwinnable. Do not engage. Starmer ignored them. He overruled the entire comms team. He insisted on delivering the statement personally. Translation: this catastrophe wasn't bad advice. It was his call against unanimous counsel. And the final lethal twist, leaked documents obtained by the Telegraph suggest Downing Street knew the speech topic 48 hours in advance. Kensington Palace followed protocol and flagged that William would address veteran homelessness. Starmer had 2 full days to plan a measured response, or say nothing. Instead, he chose confrontation. That means this wasn't some hot-headed reaction. It was a calculated decision to pick a fight with the monarchy. Either he disastrously misread the public mood, or he genuinely believes attacking the royals plays with his base. Either way, career-ending stuff. Nigel Farage wasted no time. While Labour burned, Farage looked calm, confident, and perfectly aligned with public sentiment. At a Reform UK rally in Birmingham, he told 8,000 roaring supporters, "When Prince William speaks for our veterans, he speaks for all of us." When the Prime Minister attacks him, he attacks British values. Chants of Farage for PM shook the arena. For the first time ever, Reform UK is polling ahead of Labour in 6 constituencies. The polling picture: Conservatives steady at 34%, Labour cratering to 24%, Reform surging to 26%, a 3-way deadlock as the country fractures along cultural fault lines. Even lifelong Tories are peeling off. "I voted Conservative for 40 years, said Patricia Jenkins, 71, from Essex. They've done nothing to stop this madness. Farage is the only one defending what makes Britain great. Old loyalties are shattering. The map is being redrawn in real time. And at the centre stands a prince who dared to say the quiet part out loud. The next 72 hours will decide the political survival of Britain. Parliament returns on Monday. Labour MPs are already demanding an emergency debate. Backbenchers who kept silent on Friday have now called for an apology or a resignation. A no-confidence motion can land as early as Tuesday. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace reportedly has a crisis meeting scheduled with the King, Prince of Wales, and senior constitutional advisers. The agenda: whether the monarchy distances itself or doubles down. Sources say William wants a second speech. Charles is torn: support his son or guard the crown's neutrality. If William speaks again and goes even harder, this escalates into uncharted territory. This is no longer about whether Starmer survives. It is whether the entire Labour government survives. His authority is collapsing in real time. His party is peeling away. Voters are turning. Allies abroad are uneasy. This will be studied for decades as the moment a British leader forgot that the monarchy isn't mere ceremony. It is the core of Britain's identity. So here is where we are, the Starmer War. Does William speak again and finish what he started? Does King Charles intervene with powers unused for 200 years? What do you think happens next? Does Labour ride out the storm, or does Reform UK ride the wave straight to Downing Street? Drop your take in the comments below. We read them all. If this shocked you like it shocked us, share it with anyone who needs to see what is really going on in Westminster right now. The mainstream won't give you the full story. We will subscribe, because by Monday morning, everything could change. The battle for Britain's soul is on, and you are watching history unfold.